Tonight, we have gathered to honor an exceptional man who has been instrumental in making Heart of the Rockies Regional Medical Center the outstanding facility it is today. That man is Robert P. Rush. The history of Mr. Rush's family mirrors that of Salida, the railroad, and our hospital. Bob's great-grandfather, Patrick Rush, moved to Salida in the mid-1800s and worked for the railroad until 1885. That was the same year that the original Denver and Rio Grande Railroad Hospital was built. Patrick died young, when his son Charles was only 16. Charles had to support himself and his mother by also going to work at the railroad. He continued for 51 years, retiring in 1938, but always hoped that his son William would be able to get an education. Charles's son William graduated from Salida High School in 1916 and enrolled in Colorado University at the urging of his father. William graduated with a law degree in 1922. He had to work for the railroad for a year until he could save enough to open a law practice, but once he was able to do so, he was successful. William and his wife Lois were community-minded people. William was the founding attorney for Sangre de Cristo Electric, became assistant district attorney, served on the Salida School Board, and was co-founder of the Salida Golf Club. In addition, he would later be instrumental in helping the community gain ownership of the D&RG Hospital. Lois and William had a son, Robert Philvin Rush, in 1929. Throughout his school years, Bob was active in music, art, and sports, serving as the center on the Salida basketball team.
Yes, we did play basketball together. He was a center, I was a guard. Our team wasn't too bad. We did win state consolation one year. He was a good scorer and he was a very good player and a very good man. Bob was quite popular in high school and as a matter of fact was our student body president. He ran against one of the students who I thought was going to win the election. Bob gave a hilarious campaign speech, had us all laughing, and he ended up winning the election. And many, many years later, probably 5 or 10 years ago, he brought this up and said he felt he won the election with his campaign speech. He was that great of a public speaker, even in high school.
Bob was a popular boy and even became student body president. He says he won by only 1 vote. But he still found time for social activities such as going to the Salida Theater on Friday nights to see the cowboy serials or going swimming in the Wellsville pools and often skiing with his parents and brother, Rojo, at Monarch Ski Area. Even as a young man, he already understood the concept of living a balanced life. Bob says that Salida High School provided him with a good education, including learning Spanish. After he graduated in 1947, he headed to the University of Colorado to study international relations. He joined the Phi Delta Theta fraternity. He earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1951 and was interested in going to South or Central America. But Bob was drafted into the Army and sent to Korea. He said he wasn't exactly on the front lines, but he was close enough to be scared all the time. He was married and his son Mike was born while he was away. He said this all caused a big change in his thinking and decided he wanted to apply to law school when he got out of the Army. And after 2 years in the infantry, Bob was ready to go home. Bob returned to Colorado, went to law school at CU, graduated in 1956, and joined his father's practice soon after. He says he's never regretted returning to Salida because it's where his family and friends were, and it was the best kind of place in the world to raise his children, daughter Linda and son Mike. As one would expect from a member of the Rush family, Bob became a vital part of our valley. As his law practice grew, so did his involvement in the community.
Bob has done a lot for Salida, for the hospital, as well as other events or other places in Salida. He's been on the board for a number of years. He was the president of the board. And in addition to that, he was the head of the Democratic Party. He was the head of the local Lawyers Association. He's been on the school board. He was president of the golf club. He was a lawyer, an attorney. He was the attorney for the school board. He also started the Christmas dinner, which is immensely popular.
Bob just loves Salida, and he has put forth endless time and effort in improving different organizations or institutions that he's been involved with. I served on the board of directors for the First National Bank with him, which is now Pueblo Bank and Trust. And he was on the board at the golf club, and of course has been on the board and chairman of the board of the Salida Hospital District. And he just has given endlessly of his time and efforts to try to bring improvement and good things to every organization that he's been involved with. And once again, his empathy for other people. He started the Christmas dinner just kind of out of the blue one year for people who might not have a place to go, or visitors who might be in Salida on Christmas Day, and went around to business people and others he knew and said, hey, you chip in too. And people did, and it's quite a success now. They serve hundreds of meals each Christmas Day, and they also deliver meals to shut-ins. And you just take all that together with the great person he is to know, and the fact that he has brought so much fun into so many people's lives.
Bob served as legal counsel for many of the most important businesses and organizations in the community. Larry Smith, the president of High Country Bank, says, not only was Bob instrumental in the development of the hospital, he helped in the evolution of the local financial industry, serving as member of the board of directors and attorney of First National Bank Salida for many years. He provided legal counsel for the Salida Building and Loan Association, High Country Bank, for over 45 years until his retirement in 2009. In addition, Bob also served as legal counsel to Salida Building and Loan, First National Bank, the school district, and the hospital district. Served on the Salida Chamber of Commerce Board. Was a board member of the American Red Cross Drive. Was in the American Legion. Was a member of the Elks Lodge and sang in the Elks Choir. Donated his large collection of historic Salida photos to the Salida Library. And of course, served on the hospital board of directors. Bob was first appointed to the Salida Hospital District Board in November of 1992 to fill an unexpired term of another member. He was then elected to his first four-year term in 1994 and re-elected for 2 additional four-year terms through April of 2006. Despite his many community activities, Bob Rush ran a thriving law practice in the same office on 2nd Street for 50 years, where he earned the respect and affection of colleagues and clients.
One of my most enjoyable experiences in my life was practicing law with Bob Rush. I had been practicing before in Denver and Salida, and had stopped practicing to raise our 2 boys. And he gave me the opportunity, sort of midlife, to join his practice. And I accepted that and learned very much from him, not only about law, but about life. I learned from Bob how you run a successful law practice, and consequently a successful organization of any kind.
Bob Rush is also a family man. He and his wife, Linda, have instilled their ethics of hard work and community involvement in their family. But when he wasn't working or with his family, golf has been Bob's game of choice for many years. It's his favorite way to relax and reconnect with colleagues and friends. He served on the Salida Golf Club board and can still be found on the course today. As a community, we have greatly benefited from Bob's service on the hospital board. His leadership helped guide the process of site selection and early design decisions for our new hospital.
Bob had a significant role in building a new hospital. He was instrumental in our hiring Ken Leisher, and he was the right man to build the hospital. Bob also led us through finding the proper site, choosing the proper architect, choosing the proper contractor, choosing the right bank from which we borrowed money. He was the board president, and we're all thankful that he was, because he guided us so well.
As Charles Forrester, also a former hospital board chair, said, Bob was charting the waters, and he led the ship through very significant seas. After all that, it was only fitting that the road into the new hospital would be named after his family. Our community will continue to benefit from the Rush family's involvement for generations to come.
He's one of the finest gentlemen I've ever known. He's intelligent, articulate, excellent sense of humor, and has done a great deal in leadership roles for Salida.
And he truly deserves this honor.
We are all proud of the new medical center and thankful for the many contributions Robert P. Rush has made to our community. Thank you, Mr. Robert Rush.